Okay, Mr. Holt, I understand that in the imperfect, ser turns into era, ir turns into eb, ser turns into era, ir turns into eba. But there must be other irregular verbs. There must be G verbs, or Y verbs, or boot verbs, or Z verbs in the imperfect. Nope. The imperfect is wonderful. It is probably the easiest grammar pattern that exists in any language. If it's an AR verb, you chop off the AR and add aba, abas, abba, abamos, aban. If it's ER or IR, you chop off the ER or the IR and you add ia, ias, ia, iamos, ian. We have G verbs in the present tense. Does tener trick in the past? No. Tener turns into tenia. Hacer in the present tense is ago. But in the imperfect, it's hacia. He always did, or he always made. Venir in the present tense is vengo, but in the imperfect, it's venia. Yo venia, I always came, or I was coming. Now, are there Y verbs? What's the yo form present tense of dar? Doi. But the imperfect is daba, I always gave. The yo form present tense of estar is estoy. In the imperfect, it's estaba. Estaba en la casa de mi abuela. I was always in my grandmother's house. There are no boot verbs. In the imperfect, in aba, ia, the E never turns into I. The E never turns into IE. O's never turn to UE. Mr. Holt, you mean in the imperfect, all I do is chop off the AR and add aba, abas, abba, abamos, aban? Yep. All I do for ER and IR is add ia, ias, ia, ios, ian? Yep. Well, there must be one or two irregular. Right. What are the only two that are regular? Everybody. Ser turns into era, ir turns into eb. Ser turns into era, ir turns into eba. There are no Z verbs. Think back. Conocer is to know. How do you say I know Maria? Conozco a Maria. Does it have a Z in the imperfect? No. Yo conocía a Maria. I always knew Maria, or I repeatedly got to know her well. Conducir is to drive. In the present tense, it's yo conduzco. There's a Z, I drive. But in the past tense, yo conducía a la escuela. I always drove to school, or I was driving to the school. So again, imperfect is easy. What does AR turn into? Aba, abas, abba, abamos, aban. What do ER, IR verbs turn into? Ia, ias, ia, iamos, ian. What are the only two commonly used verbs that are tricky in the imperfect? One last time. Ser turns into era, ir turns into eb. Ser turns into era, ir turns into eba. We love imperfect tense because it's so easy to form.